You're listening to Reviving Kanehsatake Radio on RKR 101.7 FM in partnership with the Pines Reporter from the Eastern Door. We're building a community media hub to strengthen Indigenous storytelling and reporting here in Kanehsatake. Today I'm joined by Pines Reporter journalist Hadassah Allen Carr, and we even got a little special guest today. Well, two special guests, but one's going to be on the mic and the other one's kind of in the background. She's not coming on the mic. It's your daughter today, right? So
yeah, she's right here with us.
So hi, Natalie, Mini Hattie, we call you.
She's got such a beautiful smile.
That's so sweet.
So we also have Michelle here, our sales representative, who's going to be filling in for me when I'm on vacation. So she's going to join us today. She's going to be our special guest. So she's going to send some of her opinions through on some of these things, and hopefully she'll get fired up and she'll get ready to argue about some news and stuff. All right, so let's start off here. We got Oka gas station forced to cancel tax exemption. Why did Belil gas station stop accepting the tax card?
Well, it was the Canada Revenue Agency, so the CRA, that determined that they should stop. And this was informed to the Revenue Quebec in January. So they told them, the CRA told Revenue Quebec, that they had done a new analysis of the territory and the tax exemption boundaries. And whoever is within the boundary can offer tax exemption to Kanehsatake. But this new validation determined that one address was outside these boundaries. Revenue Quebec was informed in January that the business had been, quote unquote, incorrectly located within the geographical boundaries in 2015. And this is the address that the Belil gas station in Oka is located in. So Revenue Quebec then told the business owner that they could not offer tax exemption for Kanehsatake after July 1st. So that was just 2 days ago that the business was forced to stop. And the Belil gas station representatives told me that they disagree with the new analysis. And to my knowledge, at the moment, the store owner is going to fight this.
And what is caretaker council member Brant Etienne and the band council doing about it?
Well, they're discussing with their lawyers the next steps. The band council did know that this new analysis from the CRA had happened, and they were asking the CRA, what are your primary documents that you base this new analysis on? And unfortunately, the CRA did not respond for a long time, and they had the lawyer, the MCK lawyer, send a letter last month. And it was only after the lawyer sent a letter to the CRA that the CRA responded, sending the band council these primary documents. Caretaker council member Brant Etienne said that they're looking into how they're going to approach this.
All right, so it's I've been noticing too a lot of the feedback coming back on social media, and a lot of people very unhappy about this. So hopefully we'll get some more answers soon, and hopefully something will be done about it. I don't know. I'll just ask Michelle if you have any thoughts on this. Going from the Belil gas station here, or you don't have to if you say no comment.
I think I'm going to refrain from
okay,
that.
that's good.
It's a little too deep for me.
Well, we always start off with the hard hitting stuff. That's always has the big hard hitting article. We always try and start off with that, and we try and lighten up as we go. So.
Okay.
So we're moving on to the second one. Oka Hudson Ferry delay continues. Kathy Sky says it's been at least 32 years since the last time she remembers seeing the ferry not running before May the 1st. And what did she have to say exactly about that?
Well, she was very adamant that it was utterly ridiculous. And wow, she feels that way because now she has to drive pretty far, actually, from Kahnawake to Kanehsatake. And with traffic, that's 2 hours. And so normally this time of the year, she would be using the ferry 3 times a week. So she really feels like this was a service that she depended on, and that just hasn't come through this summer.
Yeah, we had a bad experience with that on July 1st. We had to go by Regal and Hudson. We looked at the park that we went to, and it was actually, I think, like 5 minutes away. So it would have took us about 15 minutes if we had the ferry open here, but we had to go all the way around. Oh, so wow. It took about an hour, and it was all right. We all chit-chatted. It was a good ride, I suppose. And then we all met up in the heat, and Michelle was there for that one too, so it was pretty good.
Nice.
You talked with owner Philip Dagneau about the reasons behind the delay in the service, and what did he have to say about it?
Well, there are many reasons why it's been delayed. And Philip Dagneau, is the owner and manager of the Traverse Oka Hudson. So after they bought the company in 2024, they found many mechanical issues, IT problems, staffing challenges, administrative issues. I did try to reach out to the previous owner. They didn't respond. But Philip and his dad bought the ferry company, and afterwards he said that he started working a ton, like 7 days, like 6 days a week. He was working for 18 months like this nonstop, and more issues kept arising. Then just at the end of last year, there was a legal dispute with his business partner over the ferry business, and he took a little step back. And when he came back this spring, expecting some things to have been done, some things to have been moved forward, a lot was left uncompleted, he said. So there was the turbine to fix, the engine, fire systems had to be fixed. One of the boats wasn't registered. There was labor issues, and there was an inspection report that had to be done. I mean, like, this was just part of the list, and they've been trying to fix it all. Even the fixes were delayed. So it just seems like a lot that has been going on. For now, though, he's said that that's all what's contributed to the delay this year, and they're still working on things.
Did he mention if he had found any captains yet? Because I know they had put this on Facebook that they were looking for captains.
Yes, they do have some captains, and even Philip himself will be able to operate some of the boats very soon. He did get his registration. I don't know how it works, but he'll be able to operate a boat. But yes, they are hiring some boat captains as well. He said that they have maybe 2, 3, but that they need 6 to run the 2 boats constantly and do their regular ferry schedule.
Okay. And then has he mentioned anything about potentially planning any start of the service soon, or are we're still up in the air on this?
Well, they're waiting supposedly on an inspection report. He's crossing his fingers that it's coming in next week, but we don't know when these things are going to come in. So hopefully soon. He said, really, truly, hopefully soon.
Yes, we all hope so soon. We would have wished it would have been before July 1st, of course, but unfortunately, we will have to wait, and hopefully will be soon. So let's move on to number 3 for the day. Schools make strides in language promotions. Both Radihane and Radiwanagete have been offering more when it comes to language and culture. What are some of the offerings that they've been given?
Well, what's really changed is that the schools are starting to integrate Mohawk culture and language as part of the school's curricula. So sometimes in the past it was done kind of like as a one-off or on the side sort of lesson. And this year they really wanted to make it part of the regular class lessons. So let's say in science class, this is something I learned earlier this year. They made a bug classification chart, and they learned the bug names in both English and in Mohawk. So part of the lesson is the language. And they've done a lot more of that this year, including teaching Mohawk language lessons for the teachers. This is because the school leaders really wanted the teachers to be comfortable teaching the culture and the language, and also be an example to the students, learning their Mohawk names, regularly using it, really inspire and encourage students to use the Mohawk names themselves. And so that's really what they've done this year.
Yeah, I know my daughter has been speaking pretty good, but she never really comes and speaks it, but she's learning way more, I think, than what we were learning when we were younger in school. We had our classes, but they seem to be really stepping up with the language, with the culture. They're learning a lot more than probably what we were learning when we were kids. So, and Director of Education, Watsiniosta Nelson, shared some thoughts with you, and what did she have to say?
Well, she was so happy about how this year went, and for RKR listeners, Watsiniosta Nelson shared she was especially proud of the language lessons for the teachers on how it went, and especially in having an eager teaching staff who wanted to take this on. That wasn't in the article. Before our story, she also shared that they offered a lot more like interactive cultural lessons, presentations that were very hands-on for the students this past year. For example, Brandon Rice was invited to teach the students how to process game birds. And that's a photo in the paper today, and it's pretty cool. The birds are laid out, and they were being taught how to process them.
Yeah, Brandon Rice actually just graduated from the Ganawagi language program.
Oh, exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool for him. There was a funny story. I don't know if I can say it on air. It was about a mix-up in the language, and anyway, it was something that was said in his very close words in Ganyageha, where he was like, this means one thing, but he said something else, and it was a funny thing that happened in class. But we probably can't say the words on air here. But so how about the students? What has it been their reaction to all of this?
Well, they've been responding so well, to the point that they're asking for more. For example, the students who learned how to bead moccasin vamps, they have asked how to learn how to make their own moccasins next year. So this way they can add their vamps and to their own handmade moccasins. And the students are even asking about learning how to run a business, how to sell their homemade goods. At the elementary school, the kids are singing traditional songs more. They're leading traditional dances. So the school leaders are so excited about how this is evolving and how the students are really taking a lead, asking for more. And next year, they hope to take those next steps.
So that's going to lead me over to Michelle, because now maybe I can ask you a little bit, because you come from Ojibwe background, actually. So maybe you can just give us a little bit of insight into your cultural knowledge, or maybe some of the language if you know some of it.
Not so versed in our language, but I do see such importance in what the schools are doing today to revive the language and really preserve the culture. I know for myself, I can't necessarily say we were robbed, but we definitely weren't in a position to get the same education. So that's great that the students are asking for more, because I'm, in my 50s now asking for more, because we didn't have that freedom. We didn't have that confidence in learning our language or keeping our culture because we left. But, seeing that the children are embracing this is really heartwarming, because it's such an important part of history and of culture.
Yeah, I think it's important, because if you're looking at it from the older days, right, people were kind of cut off from the culture, and now here they're making an effort to bring it back. And now to see the kids and the teachers really just embracing everything, compared to, when we're going back, we're talking to residential school days, but even as far back as maybe even just 30, 40 years ago or so, like, people were not able to really speak their language as much. It wasn't as spread, and now to see it really coming back is actually creating more strength in the culture and within the language. So it's really good that they're doing it.
Super exciting to see that. It's I definitely feel like I missed out, and I'm glad to I'm glad to see that the next generation is embracing.
Awesome. So I'm talking with Hadass Allen Carr from the Pines Reporter here, part of the Eastern Door, and also we're joined by our special guest today, Michelle Daou, who is our sales rep, but she's going to be filling in for me when I'm on vacation. So she's kind of in training today, and she's a cool guest to have here on the side. And we're also joined by Hadassah's daughter, who's just in the background here. She's not on the mic, but she is here in studio watching her mom work, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So let's move on to the next one. June Jamboree brings measures of success. So the Jamboree continues to grow, with more and more teams competing this year. How many more teams were competing this year, and how was the Jamboree?
Well, this Jamboree hosted 24 teams compared to the 16 last year. Quick math, that's 8 more teams than last year. And the event was also a day longer than last year. Last year's event was 2 days, and this year it was 3. And it went great, said the organizers. These events help to represent the Kanehsatake warriors and build up the program. So not only did the players' athletic skills really shine through, even 2 Kanehsatake age divisions made it to the finals, but also the club becomes more solidified when they take on these really big competitive Jamboree tournaments. I spoke with Jeremy Tomlinson, Warriors coach and Kanehsatake Health Center executive director, and he said for the Warriors, it's not just about the sports, it's about building values into the players and the next generation of Kanehsatake Rono to help transform their lives.
Yeah, and you got the chance to talk to also some of the other coaches as well. What was their thoughts on this weekend?
Well, Selena Bova was one of the coaches who really was behind organizing all this. She said it was hectic, it was a lot to do, but that it went super well. She loved it. She noticed for the players, the kids, their confidence was up. They're playing a really strong game, and especially the children that participated in the winter training, they noticed that their skills really improved. So throughout the winter, they had like practice, I think it was once a week, and they noticed the difference in those kids who kept practicing. Selena also said that she was very proud of a girls' exhibition match. So Kanehsatake Warriors put together a girls team, a U13 girls team. It did had some younger girls, including a 9-year-old who was a great player. And they were against a Chambly girls team. Now, the Kanehsatake girls team has never practiced together, while the Chambly girls team has, but they went super well. They really held their own despite never practicing together. And Selena said she's hoping to add a girls team in the Warriors in the future.
Yeah, we hope to see that. That'd be pretty cool to get the girls with an actual full-on team here. They also were raising some funds, and I was reading in the article this morning that they raised quite a bit of funds, actually. So how much did they raise, and what are the funds going for?
Well, it was nearly $9,000, and it was for merchandise, mostly merchandise and raffle tickets. A lot of people wanting that Warriors, swag, just wearing it around town. And Selena Bova said that she was extremely grateful to the community for their generosity and for coming out to support the team and to purchase all those things. And the money goes back to fund the sports program, so it goes back to the kids.
Man, that's amazing. And I know for sure that, Michelle, you can add on this because you were there with me.
I sure was.
We were commentating on the games and the finals, actually. So share your thoughts on it, because I know that we were watching the game and you were like, holy smokes, these kids are rough, and they were nailing each other everywhere. Like, kids were flying all over the place. It was like watching a war with lacrosse sticks. It was insane.
I thought hockey was vicious. My goodness gracious, these kids, the power behind them, and even the tiniest little ones just came out with some crazy pushes, and I was just like, whoa, what on earth? Where did that come from?
And one of the craziest plays I seen, I'm trying to remember which kid it was, but he ran through the entire team getting checked and just kept sliding through them like he was just kind of. I think it was Kyle's son.
Yeah.
He went through about 5 players, the whole team. He went from his back of the net to the other side, fighting off checks. And then he deked the goalie out and scored. It was insane.
It was amazing.
Like, how did he do that?
That was a well-deserved goal, absolutely.
And I seen him get hit quite a bit. He kept getting knocked down, but that kid just kept getting up.
Getting right
he's
back
like,
up.
I don't care, I'm going to score the goal.
That's
he scored
right.
the lone goal for them in the final. So that kid was amazing. So
it was a little disappointing that they didn't take the finals, but I mean, they all played really hard and gave it their all. And I really hope that they had fun because they looked like they were.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was exciting to actually watch. I was like, whoa.
I had a lot of whoa moments myself.
Yeah, it's so fast to call because you're like, oh, the ball's here, the ball's there, the ball's there. There was one moment where we both thought the ball, I think, was in the net, but it was going down the opposite way. We're like, what the?
Where did that come from? Absolutely.
So let's move on to number 5. Eagles win 2 games and face 2 suspensions. So we're still sticking with lacrosse here. Eagles picked up a couple of wins, but not without some drama. So what happened at the game last Saturday?
Well, unfortunately, there was a brawl, let's say. 2 of the top offensive players are suspended from the first playoff game this Sunday. The Kanehsatake Eagles will face the Kahnawake Sturgeon Bellies without 2 of those top players, which are Poe Albany and Vincent Cree this weekend. So, yeah.
And though they did play well, Rasquit Yunta Etienne and Jeremy Tomlinson shared their thoughts on the game. And what were they?
Well, overall, the Eagles played super well. I mean, they won both their games. The team played great together. They really dominated. However, unfortunately, what happened after the second game really did eclipse what happened that day. And Randy Etienne said, the brawl was really unnecessary. And I will add that, Jeremy, he did speak to the Warriors kids players. The Eagles game happened the same weekend that the Warriors Jamboree happened. So a lot of the families, like they were involved in both the Warriors and the Eagles, and the dads who were coaching had to go, or they had to go with their kids. And so a lot of the Warriors players were watching the Eagles games, and some of them did witness what happened. And Jeremy said that it was really a teaching moment for all the kids. He did sit them down and said sometimes adults make mistakes too, and it's important not to emulate bad behavior, to learn from it, and to really move on.
Yeah, well, it's a good life lesson, but it might explain some of the aggression we saw out there during the Warriors game. So we'll move on to the last one here. We got one more to go, and I saved this one for last because this one hits a little close to home. So what did you find out about the human nature art actually forgot to mention the name of the article here. Oka art exhibit about unity. So like I said, this one hits close to home. What did you find out about the human nature art exhibit here in Oka?
Well, as you know, the art exhibit, it features 3 Kanehsatake artists, and the event is really close to here. And it served to bridge really the 2 neighboring communities. And I spoke with many people, including the mayor of Oka, about this, that he really found that it was important to do these even small collaborations. I wouldn't say that this one was small, but any sort of collaboration together, including the artists of the region, to really start to build those ties and come together for the future of the next generation as well.
Yeah, I know. We had also elder from the community, and Dinyawas here, our own show here, Mina Bova. She did all the translations in Ganyageha, so it was pretty cool to see her there. Also saw Hilda there as well, and it was really nice to see them there. It was really nice to see that collaboration, like you were saying. So to be able to see that take place was awesome. What can you tell me a little bit about Douglas Beaver's project?
Well, his project, if you see it, is a photo of his sculpture. And his sculpture is like twisted. It almost looks like, to me, like antlers or something. And it was inspired by his own healing journey. He said that came up with the idea while he was recovering from a liver transplant. The sculpture shows these 2 windwalkers. This is a story that he created, so Douglas created himself, of these 2 spirits who are brothers, and they're traveling the earth during creation. And the sculpture shows a moment where the spirits stop. They allow the wind to travel through them, and the spirits are looking at new life forming on the earth, and they just take a moment to see it happening. And Douglas said that the sculpture is really a metaphor, that during healing, often people have to let go of uncertainty, and they have to be more vulnerable, transparent, less rigid. And when the windwalkers became less solid to see this new life forming, they were there to understand something greater than themselves. So he felt like he could really connect with that sculpture and with that story.
And I was also part of a 6-piece series. I remember him telling me, and there's even a book on Amazon that you can go get, the Book of 6 Spirits. So a shameless plug for you here, Douglas, for you to go on there and buy his book on Amazon. So same question, what did Jasmine share about her project?
Well, Jasmine's artwork is a child blowing bubbles. It's a digital artwork, and it expresses happiness in creation and connecting with our very vibrant, very carefree inner child. She said that the human nature, of course, is the theme of the art show in itself, and she chose to focus on language of laughter and joy. She sees art as healing, and that the artwork really was, to showcase that joy that we all feel when we do these small, like, childlike things.
Yeah, I got to see her project too, and I got to talk with her a little bit, and she's an old friend of mine. I actually grew up with her brother. We went to school together here, Jake, so it was pretty cool to see her. And I know she's going to Hudson Pride Festival, I believe, and it's either at the end of July or August. You have to check it out. The Festival de Fierte, I believe she said, and she's gonna be selling some of her stickers and projects and stuff like that. So you can go check her out coming up, but you'll have to check the date on that. I should have checked it myself, but you'll have to check the date. It's coming up in Hudson, the Pride Festivals, if you want to go check out Jasmine's work. Now I got one last question for you. What did my daughter Lena Rose have to share with you?
Well, as you know, Lena Rose, she did this wonderful artwork, and it shows a woman in nature, and she's surrounded by a lush forest. And Lena Rose shared that the artwork is about being at peace with nature at its most calm. The painting, the artwork is at night, and so there's this like purple, has a lot of purple colors to show that it's the nighttime. And she said that the flowers bloom during the night because it represents the beauty that can shine through darkness. So it's really a beautiful painting. And this wasn't in the article, but you mentioned to me that you heard someone say, when you come at a certain time and the sun is shining on it a certain way, it just glows. And I recall that you went to go see it in that new lighting, right?
Yeah, it actually changes. Even Lena was with us. And even she's like, oh my God, it's true. It was actually Louise Guimet, she's the coordinator of it all. She's all like, you got to come see it in the evening when the sun is setting. And it's right on there. She's like, it gives it a whole different light. And we didn't know, my daughter didn't know until we saw it. And we're like, oh, wow, it's like almost like a whole nother art project. So it looked really cool in that lighting. And it was nice to see my daughter just kind of come out of her shell a little bit and be happy, just to be there and to get her first commission. This is like a professional art thing for her. So for her, it gave her so much confidence. It gave her such a vibrancy to her, I guess I can say. It was nice to see her there. She got shy when she was there, though, because the mayor of Oka tried to call her out and was like, hey, you over here, come here, you young artist. And she was like, So she just hid in the back and kind of hid behind me when her friends showed up to come see her, and she was almost like shy to show it to them, but proud at the same time. So it was nice to see her just be able to open up and show that pride and to put that much work into that she put in. It was maybe a good week or two that she really worked every day on it. So I'm proud of her, and I'm happy that she got to do that.
That's so wonderful. And obviously, like, she really loved it because she used some of the money to buy more art supplies so that she can keep creating. So I'm excited to see what she does next, Sterling.
I am excited to see what she does next. I'm like, keep going. Hopefully, in 20 years from now, you'll be living in France and being a millionaire art dealer or something. I don't know what she's gonna do, but she'll be doing something hopefully really really nice, really cool. So that's about it for today, ladies. I do appreciate you for joining me. Hadassah, I don't know if you have anything else that maybe we didn't touch on today. I gotta ask you this question every time, so
yeah, I mean, I guess I would just because the Eagles are playing this Sunday, they're playing their first playoff game. Anyone is interested in going to support the Eagles, just a shout out to them, and to support the team.
Yeah. So thank you for the shout out. And Michelle, is there anything that you'd maybe like to add here? Our trainee here, we brought her on, and she didn't have to do this, but she decided to do it, and we were really happy that she did. And I think it added a little bit more depth and character and level to the show today. So is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off here?
Not really. I mean, thank you very much for having me here. It's always interesting to see the different programs that RKR has to offer. So it's nice to be involved as well.
All right, so thank you very much. We do appreciate you joining us. And get this week's copy of The Eastern Door at Bayside Convenience, Mohawk Gas Bar, and Little Tree. Or you can subscribe online at theeasterndoor.com. And that was a conversation with the Pines Reporter journalist Hadassah Allen Carr. Also, we were joined by our special guest today, Michelle Daou here. And also a special thank you to the daughter of Hadassah Allen Carr, who's here. She's been quiet in the background, but she's here with her mom. So, thank you for joining us today. I can't really see her. She's behind the screen, so I'll wave to her. So thank you for joining us today. And that's a collaboration here between Reviving Kanehsatake Radio and the Eastern Door. We're trying to grow Indigenous media within the community, reporting here in Kanehsatake. So for more local stories and updates, stay tuned here on RKR 101.7 FM and go grab yourself a copy of The Eastern Door.